to me, this is interesting. I followed this a little bit, and so there's this person. His name is Bill Hutchinson. He is 63 right now. He lives in Texas, and recently arrested for sexually assaulting a 17-year-old in his home, which is sad. But my video is not as much about that as it's about this other relationship that he's into. He has a 23-year-old fiance. Her name is Brianna Ramirez, and she's a beautiful young lady. She has her whole life ahead of her. He met her. He's a multimillionaire. She was struggling. He was 57, 58 when he met her. She was 18 years old. She was working in a restaurant, hostess. And basically, he swept her off her feet. This is how he said they met.
I'm curious how you guys intersected and got into a relationship, because you do come from different worlds. You are different ages. So how did this come to be a thing?
Well, I think he sort of charmed me and, impressed me. And it was something so new, because people my age, they don't have good conversation. They want to go and party. They want to go and drink. And so I was captured that he actually had something intriguing to say.
Yeah.
She was a hostess at a Mexican restaurant. I went in there to eat.
Yeah.
I saw her. I was mesmerized by her beauty, and I could tell how sweet she was.
Yeah.
I came back a few more times. Finally, I just decided I'm going to introduce myself and invite her out on a date.
So that's how they met. I didn't really believe her, though. I wasn't bought into where she said that she just wanted somebody that she could talk to. People her age, you can't talk to them. I didn't buy that. I I don't really understand. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but she was 18 at the time. She meets this guy who's 57, whatever it is. It's so much older, and I suppose there's attraction there. But I don't really buy that. I think that it's his money. I think we probably all believe that. Now, she said she didn't know about his money for a long time. I don't believe that either. I believe that the way his personality is, I think he wants you to know he has money. The way he dresses, his cars. He talks about he has the most beautiful home in Texas. I can't remember what part he lives in. Maybe it's Dallas. But so I'm not buying it. I think he used his money to get this relationship going. But recently, there's been these charges against him. Now, we don't know if there's true or not, but there is a video out there. And in this video, there's a young lady, 17 years old. I'm not sure why they're in his house. I'm not sure he's helping them. I guess there's a couple of young people in his house. Supposedly, there's liquor in the house. Supposedly, there's marijuana in the house. I'm not sure. But this is what she says. It's just brief, 15 seconds, but this is what she says.
Bill, get off of me.
What on me?
I'm not, but you're holding me.
Are you a virgin?
Get off of me,
Just
Bill.
tell me.
Bill,
Tell me.
I'm not telling you anything, but you can't hold me down like that.
Now, I'm not saying that was him. Supposedly that was him with this 17-year-old at the time of the assault. I'm not for sure. To me, they both sound drunk. So I'm not saying anything about Bill Hutchinson. I don't know him. Seemed like he had a good stand in his community. So I'm not sure what the situation is. I'm not sure why he would have 17-year-olds in his house. I'm not sure why he would bring liquor, marijuana. He just seems like this free-going guy. I don't know. We'll find out later. I'm not sure what type of assault the situation is. So I'm not trying to talk about that. But my point is, but my main focus is this relationship with Brianna Ramirez, who she's 23. And in this situation, it gives the appearance that, Bill Hutchinson, multimillionaire, $100 million he's worth. He's the Prince Charming. He's coming in. He's going to save her, because she has two backgrounds. They have two different backgrounds. She and her family, I think they lived in an apartment at that time, a small apartment. And he lives in this massive house, massive business, travel across the world. I think he has a yacht, all these things that disappears like it's a Prince Charming situation. But you really got to think about, like, what are you getting into? Because I was listening to them on in an interview with Dr. Phil, in fact, and she wants, and probably other interviews too, she wants kids. She's 23, she wants kids. Well, he's 63, he's already had 2 marriages, and he's had, I think, 5 kids, and he may even have some grandkids, I'm not sure. So he's not interested in kids, but she still wants these kids. He talks about, they asked him if he would do a prenup. Now, most people with the type of wealth that he has, that he built over his whole life, yeah, they would do a prenup, especially he's had 2 failed marriages. There's no guarantee that this marriage would work. So absolutely, he would do a prenup, you know, because he don't want to lose what he's earned over the years. But she, Brianna, she don't want a prenup. She says she won't get married without a prenup. I don't believe that. I think she'll get married anyway. But so there's a strong disagreement there. The kid thing seems to be pretty big with her. Then this other thing with being faithful. One of his ex-wives, who he's real close with, I think lives in his house, says that he's not faithful. He's never been faithful. And she knows that from her experience, and she's seen him in many relationships. So when you look at him, 63 years old, and as successful as he is, material-wise, you know he's had many relationships, just many. And so Brianna, who knows with her. So he says that he's not really into, I think they call it monogamy. I don't know what they call it, I can't pronounce it, but into a relationship where you're just with one person. He's not into that, you know, but he says he's willing to give it a shot in this relationship. He's willing to give it a shot, he says. To me, that's weak. Willing to give it a shot. Either you are or you're not. You're willing to give it a shot, doesn't even make sense. But her, on the other hand, Brianna, of course, she wants, you know, faithfulness. You know, so all these differences, you know. And then I watched episode, they have this show, it's called Marrying Millions. I think that's what Marrying Millions, I think that's what it's called. That's when I first saw them a couple of years ago. They've had 2 episodes with these two. And I cringed when I watched it because she's so young and he's older and he has everything. She's sitting in his house. She's sitting at his big table. They're going out to dinner. He's paying for everything. And he's introducing her to his people, and they're so different than her and her background that she seems uncomfortable. And he seems like a little bit manipulative in this relationship. Like at one point, they're sitting at the table and they're talking, and she mentioned something about not going to one of these events because she felt uncomfortable. And like she stood out or something, which she would, because all these folks know each other. These folks are all successful in some way, and she's a newcomer, and she's real young, and she hasn't established herself yet. So she comes into the situation, she's going to be the outcast. They're going to be like, why are you here? I mean, they'll accept her, I guess, because she's with him, but how many other women have they seen him with, bring through here? She could just be another number, and they're like, well, she'll be gone in 6 months, a year, whatever it is. So she wasn't sure about going. And he had made a comment that, you know, maybe I'll bring somebody else. And that stunned her. And what a comment to make. Maybe I'll just bring somebody else. If this is your girlfriend, you know, you don't tell her you're going to bring somebody else to this event. So to me, he just seems manipulative. He knows he has this money. He has all this power. And that's my whole point of this video, is that even though he seems like a Prince Charming, he has all this money. Young women got to be careful what type of situation they get into. You can't get into a situation where someone has all the power. There's too much power. There has to be some balance there. And just you and you being pretty is not the balance. It's not enough. You've got to have something else going for you. You've got to be, you try to build a business, or you have dreams that you're working on, or you're going to school, or you're doing something. You can't just put everything into a relationship, because then you become trapped. In this situation, Brianna used to be a restaurant host. I don't know what her goals and dreams are, but she meets this guy, this Prince Charming supposedly, and I don't know what she is. I don't know is she all into him now? Is she all trying? She says her whole life changed. Her life shouldn't have changed. You know, she if she cared about him, she could have met somebody and they have a relationship and they share a life together. But her whole life changed. Like, what does she mean by that? She meant materialistically. Now she's eating in the best restaurants. Now she's living or visiting this big house he has. She's going to these big parties. They're going to these amazing vacations. Whatever it is, her life has changed. But to me, that's a negative. It's like you're putting your whole self into him. So then my last point. So now he has this situation with this 17-year-old girl. We don't really know what happened, right? I suspect what happened. Maybe they were drunk and for whatever reason, he took a chance, went in there and assaulted her. I don't know, unfortunately. I'm not sure, but I suspect it happened. But I don't know, right? And, but with Brianna Ramirez, what is she going to do now? How is she going to move forward? You know, the guy said that he doesn't believe in being faithful in relationships. Okay, so then this situation happened with a 17-year-old. How is she gonna move forward now? What is she gonna do? He doesn't want to have babies. He doesn't want to have kids. He's gonna do a prenup. How is she gonna move? He has everything. He has all the power. How is she gonna, he's been divorced a couple times. How is she gonna move forward with this? You know, is she so tied into this guy in this situation, all these luxury things and this money that she's gonna overlook this assault? Or is she her own woman, making her own way, and she's in a relationship with this person, but she just like, it just doesn't work out, but it doesn't change her life. Her life is still amazing. Is she that person? That's what I wonder. So that's all I have. Just like when we get into relationships, we got to think about it long term. We got to think about it, because that passion or whatever it is, you know, when somebody sweeps you off your feet, that'll last for 6 months, year and a half, maybe 2 years, even though they've been in a relationship 3 years. After a while, you got to start thinking, do we have the same values? Do we want the same things? Is the power evenly, where we're just sharing a life and I'm happy with my life, even though he has a life? Or is all my investment into this person and my life is totally enhanced only because I met this person, and if this person's gone, then I'm back to square one? Is it that situation? That's what we got to be careful about when we're in these relationships. I personally don't think they're going to make it. I don't think they're going to make it. Not because she don't want to. I think this is how he is. When he gets tired of her, he's going to dump her aside. But my hope is that this Brianna, when she sees the situation with the sexual assault, that it wakes her up and then she goes her own way and figures out her own amazing life that she has. So I got peace and hope.